And let's talk about the creative process. When do you feel creative? For me, I agree with you, Maureen. It's when I'm doing nothing or what would be a nothing task, like doing the dishes. All of a sudden, I get a thought about something that I was thinking about earlier during the day. What activities do you guys do that seems to allow creativity to flow through? In the shower. Thank you, Kelly. I wasn't going to say it because I thought that might be TMI for some people, but I agree. When I'm in the shower, it just seems like I have these ideas.
But we can't take long showers in California any longer. So
you probably shouldn't in general anyway, right?
But I find that, you can get that in the swimming pool, the sound of rushing water, like when we go hiking and we go stop at a creek, and the whole family loves to just sit by the creek and listen to the water running, and you can let your mind wander, and the creative ideas come to me during that time. So there's something for me, there's something that water seems to have that.
There are few things I do to actually get inspired, which is switching to what I do automatically. For instance, when I drive to my office or when I go to restaurants, listen to music, do it in a different way. Try to find new routes to go to the same places, meet new people completely different to your friends, or listen to new music that you never heard before. Things that will spark like, I never saw, or I never hear something like that. That feels like, or it sounds a little bit like. So you start connecting things, and it expands your capacity to think or imagine, even when you go to a restaurant and then the food, it's a completely new restaurant and the food is different. And it shows you that you can mix new things when cooking, completely different styles to actually feed my brain and find new options. If I keep doing the same or stuck in some styles, then I'm blocked for a while. Book or find time to try new things, because we barely find the time to meet our friends, right? So how can I meet new people, or to go to a restaurant? I want to go to the ones I like, or the music. So you need to find the time to do that things in a different way.
You mentioned music and Kelly mentioned water, but those are very audio focused sounds, kind of drive a creativity mindset or lead you to think differently. Jason put it in here. Anything other than what I was doing.
Exactly.
Whatever it was, go in a completely different direction, whatever that may be. So Jason, do you have an example of that? How do you use that?
Oh, it's anything. I just walk away. So if I'm supposed to be producing a video or something for a course and I can't get where do I want to start with this, I will go and do something else. I'll work on some reports or something, or walk around, just take my brain away from focusing on that creative thing that I need to do. And then ultimately, something will just trigger in the back of my head, and then an idea will pop in, and I'll just, then I'll be hyper focused on it for the next 3 hours.
When we step away, we allow the clutter to fall away.
I think if we focus on it too much, that sometimes can create a block.
Right, that forest through the trees.
Right.
Saying. Yeah, and Mary, I'm with you. So Mary, do you want to talk to me about how journaling helps you?
Well, I'm a writer to begin with. So anytime I'm going to put pen to paper, that's going to make a huge difference for me. I just read Heather's comment, and yes, the act of writing is also art, and it's taking thoughts and making them visible, and that is visual art, which never occurred to me. Thank you, Heather, wherever you are in there. Sorry, I'm going to stop and cry now, because that's just like, oh my God. Anyhow, journaling. Yeah. So I'll write down, whatever I'm thinking, or, hey, the sky is blue, the grass is green, the birds are singing, blah, blah, blah. Not thinking about what I'm trying to be thinking about, just thinking about what I'm feeling in this moment. We recently changed CEOs, and all of us are not really happy about that. And I was journaling my feelings about that, and knowing that I need to get past my baggage with this person and having absolutely no idea how. And as I'm journaling, an idea comes out of left field, and I'm like, oh my God, I should try that. It worked when I was dealing with other baggage, and presto changeo, I'd say 80% of the baggage is gone now. But I'm a writer, so writing is how I figure things out anyway.
There is something to be said about that. A few of the creativity books and articles and such that I've read over the years say something about brain dumping, or just taking a moment, picking a topic, and just writing something off the top of your head, just to get ideas out, just starting your day with 10 minutes and just writing stuff down and see what tends to flow out of your brain. So Andrew, what did you post here?
So the conversation was about doing something else. If you're doing another activity, then you by associate with the other activity the thing that you've hidden away that you're not thinking of, and the evidence is there, which does confirm it. They've done brain scans and the whole piece, and there's a proper scientific study that supports it. So you can say science says that doing something else will make you more creative. It's nice to be able to prove it with
Right.
paper, for example. Do you know what I mean? And the other thing I would also pick up on is the conversation about writing. I blog every day. I write a blog post every day and publish them. And there's a couple of reasons for it. So firstly, by publishing them, then I set an expectation on myself that I have to produce them. But secondly, what I find is that it's like turning on a tap. I think it was Neil Gaiman who described it, or possibly Stephen King, says that the first 1,000 words are rubbish. But it's like when you first turn on the tap, the cold water is not cold until it's come a mile down the road, kind of thing. And that's what happens. So I'll write a blog post and it will be terrible. And then the second blog post I write that day will be better. But then I'll go back and edit the first one 3 days later and we'll understand exactly what I'm trying to do. And that's where the creativity comes from. It's not a once and done thing. People say I'm creative. No, I'm not. I just work on thinking about other people's ideas and how to get them together.
That's another creative outlet, isn't it? Is to talk about something maybe that you're not familiar with or maybe somewhat familiar with. The creativity behind this coffee chat, not this particular topic, but the coffee chats in general, is that it forces me to go out and do some research about that topic, right? So the productivity chat last week, I had to go out, I had to do some research, I had to read some stuff. That forces me to think differently about a particular topic rather than me coming in cold with some assumptions. I think if you build this habit of doing something that's going to free your brain, and it doesn't have to be first thing in the morning, right? It could be at any time. Irby, I think you said the part of your brain that says, I can't do this, goes to bed around 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and then it picks up in the morning. It's about knowing your energy. Would you say that, Irby?
The thing that I'm kind of working against me is because I'm a Navy veteran, the military and stuff. And so there was this kind of a stay between the lines are our friends kind of condition where I tend not to deviate from the task at hand. And more often in my role, I'm a project manager. Anything I can do to kind of make my brain kind of go off on a tangent benefits the creativity, I think.
We just let the brain flow, I think, is kind of some of the messaging that we're getting here. And I agree with you, Irby. A lot of times I just can't think about it anymore and I just have to sleep on it. And I think there's something to be said about sleeping on it, to allow yourself to think differently when the morning comes around. Heather, does anyone else try to remember something you saw or heard and forgot about it later? All the time. Every time I enter a room, it feels like lately. And I try to write down all the ideas or things to check out when they're in my mind so I can refer back to them later for a deep dive. Do you want to talk deeper about that? Or does anyone else feel the same way? Go ahead, Mary.
I do the same thing Heather does. I keep a notepad by my bed because I will have an idea as I'm falling asleep. And I'm like, I got to grab that because it will not be in my brain in the morning. And I know a lot of people now, they put the notes on their phones. I'm a boomer. I'm a dinosaur. And yeah, I've got a smartphone, but it's smarter than I am, so I much prefer pen and paper. There's something about putting pen to paper and actually writing stuff that connects things in my brain.
Yeah, me too. There's something about the feeling of using Post-it notes that I think enhance creativity. It's the colors, it's the stickiness, it's the ability to move them around. It's very touchy for me, and I'm all about if I can touch it, then I'm good. And my daughter often when we're in stores, she'd be like, Mom, stop touching stuff. I like the softness or whatever the texture is. And I think that makes me think about it.